Welcome to another episode of the Need for Speed Most Wanted mod showcase, and in today's episode we're actually going to have 4 cars rather than 3, because as it turns out, apparently every other Elite car that was made for Need for Speed World has a variant of a mod for Need for Speed Most Wanted, and so for this episode we're going to be looking at the remaining 4 of them. Starting with, at the low end of the barrel, the Mitsubishi Eclipse Elite, the only originally Tier 1 Elite car, which then became the class system because of how World changed it up with that. And, you know, it's generally not a bad-looking Eclipse, minus a couple things. I mean, for one, what's going on with the big speakers in the back, it's not really that needed. And then secondly, why these exhausts? Why on earth are these exhausts even a thing? Regardless, though, despite that, I'm gonna take you through a look at what the only things you can put as a body kit. You can choose to completely strip off the livery. You can also choose to have a variant without the livery that includes the hood being closed in rather than being fully exposed. Then there's also another variant which you may think just looks like exactly what we saw before, but no. If you notice, it's the same livery minus the Elite license plate from World. It gives you the more standard Need for Speed Most Wanted license plate. So there's that, and then of course, you know, the same thing with the Most Wanted license plate, but with the thing stripped off. We're gonna leave it the way it is because, you know, why not? And then apart from that, you really can't do much else. So you probably did expect that, though, since, you know, the car wouldn't really ever be majorly intended to be changed in terms of design-wise, so, you know. Regardless of how you look at it, though, we're going to be taking the Eclipse here, through the Petersburg test track, where we're going to give, you know, the car 3 good laps to try to record as fast of a flying lap time as we possibly can. The best of which will be put onto the leaderboard, and oh dear. I'm actually not using the same controller I normally use right now, but I have completely forgotten that because I'm not using the same one, I'm going to have to remap the controls, which I'll just do off screen, because right now can't honestly be very bothered to do that. But, you know, it should still be pretty simple to get through this, so either or way. But regardless of which, my thoughts about the Eclipse Elite is that it you know, this replaces the Eclipse GT, and honestly, it drives a lot like the Eclipse GT. It feels just about as fast, and it turns just about as much. It doesn't feel like it's much of a major difference. It's just, but I guess in the long run, when you fully upgrade the car, there really isn't much of a need to really change it up, I suppose, considering the car it is. So, you know, that may be the thing. That may just be the thing behind it right now. So, even despite that, you know, still I'm gonna still give this car one good run through here, and hopefully see if we can pull off a good lap time. I'm saying perhaps potentially sub 59 seconds if I pull a really good lap, which I'm hoping for. So that'll be easy there. Okay, that's fine. Actually, kind of using those signs did kind of help prevent the car from really going wide. It kind of cuts off the speed I really don't need. Ooh, that's cutting it a little bit too close to that corner. That's kinking it right there. Didn't mean to do that, but, you know, it happens. Not much you can really do about that. Alright, as we continue to stroll along here. Oh, I should have probably taken that on the first lap. Oh well. We're not really gonna worry about it. This car is pretty much doing what I'm kind of expected it to do, so. Yeah, okay, 101.79. We're definitely not gonna settle with that. This car can definitely do better than that. It did get hurt by what happened in that previous lap, though. So, and again, I kind of went a little bit on the wide side there. So, and there we go, nice and cut through close on the there. So that will definitely help. Yeah, and when I mentioned this pretty much drives like the Eclipse, that's basically the Eclipse GT that's already in the game. That was pretty much my subtle way of saying this actually does replace the Eclipse GT, as you probably would have expected it to. And why is my Discord notification still going off, even though I tried to put the damn thing on streamer mode? That's annoying. Yeah, because especially since my Discord stuff never really shuts up, so. Because I'm part of way too many goddamn servers on there. And especially since I have a quite active server of my own. And it's 59.83. Yeah, that's better, but I still think I could do a little bit better than that. Ooh, that was much better entrance to that corner that time. Okay, I think we could possibly... Come on, let's get this lap to be the best. Okay, again, coming off a bit wide, but, you know... Didn't hit the wall, so that's a good thing. Alright, not the prettiest, but I'll take it. Alright, come on, let's see here. Just gotta keep getting this thing moving. Careful. Whoa, that was really close, but we kept it off. That was super, super close, but... Whew, that gave me a bit of a panic. Well, we'll take it. If that's not the best lap, then I'd be surprised. But, okay, yep, 59.31. Pretty much kind of what I was expecting this car to do, so we'll take it. We'll pretty much take it right then and there. Anyways, next up we have is the next Elite in the lineup, the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Now, I've actually already got a body design on it because that's, of course, the Elite livery, because if you choose stock, you could choose to have none at all. So if you don't like it, but here it is again. You can also choose to take off the decals on the like these little decals on the ones on the side mirror there and the back. If you don't like it, you kind of prefer it to be a little bit more clean. Or you can choose to have no livery again, but choose to just completely take off the wheelie bar in the back, which is also an option. And then there's this unique one which is kind of like a shout out to which is kind of like a shout out to all the different Need for Speed Most Wanted modders, because I got a whole bunch of names of people who have made mods for this game as well. So I guess it's like a little bit of a shout out livery to them. And then of course this one is just literally the same thing as Body 1, so there's pretty much no difference there, including the wheelie bar still retaining. So we're just gonna put this on it. So, or it's already on technically. Actually, it should be. There we go. And then again, you probably guess I can't really do much else with this. And before I move on here, I'm gonna do a quick cut here because I'm gonna shut Discord up real quick. So give me one moment. Okay, so now that I've gotten that taken care of with Discord and I've also remapped the controls, we can continue where we were with this. So the Camaro ZL1 replaces, I guess, really the closest thing you'd be able to get with such a car, the Ford Mustang GT. Mostly because, you know, you could replace the Camaro SS that's in the game, but, you'd also have the fact that, you know, you can only put so many parts on it, and the Mustang, and you can at least put ultimate parts in Jugman to really get the most out of the car, so it makes more sense to me that it replaces that in particular, so... Regardless of which, though, we're gonna just keep up try to get the best that we're gonna be able to get out of this car. The one thing that the Camaro has, it's not as fast on the top end as the Eclipse is, but its handling is really sharp. Like, it has some of the sharpest handling I've seen out of a car modded. It's really, if you get this thing down, you can take corners at really, really excellent speeds. And that section there is not really the best of showing off that, but you know. You can just see there how I can easily get through some of these corners at the speeds I'm being able to take them at. So, and although that again is not a good way of showing it, that was just a bad entry through that corner. So, I really don't want to keep having that right now. And the one thing too, though, with the cornering, it's really sharp, but with the turning radius. But you also have to be careful because you can still get the thing into a bit of a slide. So you gotta. So once you get around the corner, you gotta give it a quick flick of the other direction. Oh god damn it! A quick flick of the other direction so you can keep the thing from. Oh Jesus Christ! This hood view. What the fuck? It's not. That wasn't modeled properly. But yeah, you got to give it a quick flick so you can keep the thing stabilized without it going into pretty much a huge slide. So you just got to be careful with it. And you just got to carry. But once you get it down, you can, and you know how to really carry this car through the corners at good speeds. It's quite a surprising machine. And right now that was a better run through those few set of corners back there. So that's already good progress there. But that isn't. That was the sense of the car just flicking over to that side, and I just had completely lost it. Come on, I know what this car is capable of. I would actually like to be able to do it, please. That would be really nice. Because a 59.95 is definitely not what this car can do. I know it can do better than that. Just gotta be careful here. Oh, come on. There we go. That was a really quick entry through there. Come on, let's... I gotta make this as good as I possibly can. There we go. Yes, good, nice and quick, smooth through there. Lots of good speed. Alright, let's avoid what happened here at the last lap. There we go. Far better. Much better. Okay, because that wasn't exactly the best through there, but it wasn't bad either. This is definitely so far turning out to be a much better lap already, I can tell. And again, you know, a bit of slide through there, but we'll manage to get through there. So what are we gonna finish with? There we go, 58.80. That's a little more realistic to what I was expecting this car to do. I will take it. Yeah, it's that lack of top end which kind of hurts the car a bit, but you know, the handling at least is a thing it makes up for. Third up is a Viper. The Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR Elite. Yes, it's designed to be a police car because that was pretty much how they intended it. I believe it's also one of the only 2 cars ever that you were able to get in World that had actually had not just the lights but also had a siren. So you actually had sound to it too. The only other car I believe that had that was the I think it was the Police Interceptor, the Taurus one. I believe that was the only other one that had sirens. Every other ones that had like a police thing just had the lights, and that was it. Pretty much design-wise, it's literally just a couple ones have the Elite livery, then the other ones it's just no livery whatsoever. And again, unfortunately, you can't really put any vinyls on it. None of these cars that you're seeing here today can have any vinyls on it, which is a bit of a shame. But you know, I ain't the one who made this mod, so don't. So, sudden bit of a jump because there was a bit of a weird, strange issue that happened, so I had to restart it. But here's something a bit interesting. Those lights, I guess technically, those lights just aren't. They're not just there to be a visual aesthetic. The modder actually went through the time and effort to make them actually functional, so that this car actually has working lights, which is badass. So instead of this just being, you know, a simple, it doesn't really do nothing, it's just meant to look pretty and that's about it. No, it actually has working lights, which is again badass. Now I know the extra option things that kind of allows for like a thing to control the light. I don't quite know what it is with this, but I'm not gonna keep trying to test. The fact that this has lights working in the first place again is really fucking cool. Because you know it goes better with the car since they had designed this to be like a police elite car. Although, just so as you probably expected, that doesn't really actually mean shit. It didn't really actually mean shit in World because you can have a police car, but police will still chase you. Which, you know, police chasing the police. What? I mean, obviously it's not you're not really the police, so I guess that's kind of the thing behind it. But you know, still, I kind of wish there was a bit. It kind of played a little bit more where. I kind of wish World would have introduced a bit of a mode where you could have been like the police, since there's so many different police car styles. And you know, so if you had something like this, you could try to chase down racers in this car. This car, that would have been really cool. Excuse me. Unfortunately, that was never implemented because I don't think EA really ever had much faith in World that much for some reason. It was successful. It had quite a lot of people playing it, but they just really didn't care much for the development team. It was originally, you know, Black Box, then the Black Box division kind of slowly shut down over time. They didn't really work much with World that much, and then, you know, the run happened. And that didn't work out. So that was pretty much, I guess, the nail in the coffin for what killed Black Box, in my honest opinion. I mean, it could have been some other reason, but I think the run was probably what hit the nail in the coffin there. And then, but then, you know, the majority of people from Black Box who did work on the game went to formed a studio with Quicklime Games and continue development, and they would continue it for a while, and then they also got kind of canned by EA, and then it just got handed to a studio that literally had no idea what to do with the fucking game at all, because literally, oh, we're gonna do this rotation thing weekly for having new cars for in-game cash, and then they never could figure it out, so it would just be on and on and on, and just nothing would happen. And they would explain, oh, there are some issues as to why this isn't happening, and basically, yeah, that was probably one of the worst times of development. And then the last studio to get a hold of it, actually did do some stuff with the game. They couldn't really do much, obviously, but you know, they actually managed to get active rotations going, and you know, by the last couple months of the game, they started making everything available for cash, and they even brought out the Elite parts, which weren't previously available before, ever. So, and then you're like, you know, here's something special. I mean, yeah, you won't be able to use it much, but here it is anyways. And of course, the modding community with Need for Speed World Offline has since made that possible to really explore into what could have been with the game. And there we go. We actually managed to crack 56 seconds, getting a 55.73 as our best lap with the Viper. I am pleased. So anyways, finally we now get to go to the most interesting of the bunch. The Elite car that kind of started off the Elite cars in World, the Koenigsegg CCX Elite. The Viper, by the way, replaces, well, the Viper, but the CCX Elite here replaces the Porsche Courier GT, which is a bit of an interesting choice. But again, I guess in a way, if you really think about it, that kind of means you can put every single Elite car into World at the same time, because the McLaren F1 Elite that I did in a previous video replaces the Mercedes SLR McLaren. So you can put all 5 Elite cars in at once, and the game won't be like, oh, this car's already replaced something. So design-wise, there isn't really too much. You can choose to have no livery at all, or you can kind of choose to strip off like the back there, which is a bit of an interesting little thing. But I personally don't think that looks really particularly great, so we're gonna go with this, because that's personally what I think looks best. And again, just like all the other cars, really isn't much you can do with this car, so them's the ropes, I guess. Anyways, so this should be the last car, and honestly, this should probably perform the best. I mean, it's not exactly the prettiest looking Elite. I think that quad exhaust style in the back that really sticks out looks hideous. I think it's a terrible looking design. And the rear lights, it's not exactly the prettiest, but I think it should be the best, because it's a CCX, and if it doesn't drive fast, then I'll be disappointed. But from the looks of things, it looks like my worries is put to rest, because this thing, well, seems to be going pretty fast, which is good. Anyway, so yeah, about the Elite cars too. Every Elite car that was added in the game was always meant to be added first, then eventually down the road they would release the standard variant of that Elite car in the future. Only 3 of the 5 ever got that. The CCX I know was first, and then eventually they brought out the standard CCX, the not Elite. I think the Camaro ZL1 was next. I can't remember for sure though if it was the Camaro or the Eclipse or whatnot. That came out. That Camaro came out. Then eventually for the second 2-year anniversary, actually, the 2 years anniversary car was the standard Camaro ZL1. Then the Eclipse came out, and then again I can't remember if it was Camaro first and Eclipse. I think it was Camaro first. And then after a while, the standard Eclipse came out. And then the two that never saw a standard variant of a car was the Viper and the F1. But had the door not been shut suddenly on Quicklime and World Development, it probably would have happened. I have a very good feeling it probably would have happened. We probably would have seen a standard Viper SRT10 ACR and a standard McLaren F1. But again, because they kind of got shut down, it never really happened. And there probably would have been more Elite cars too of something. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like, this is just a crazy throw out, but imagine like an Elite Aston Martin 177, which I wouldn't really want, but probably if they were going to introduce that car and they really wanted a special way, they probably would have done something like that. I don't know. But yeah, when the world got shut down, like the development, the game there were still things that they were planning with the game. There was a Vauxhall Monaro VXR that was added into the game, but was never made available because the door got shut on them, and the files of that always still remained. There was also 2 more cars that were supposed to be released afterwards, in which there was the Porsche 918 Concept RSR and the SRT Dodge Charger SRT8, like the 2012. Those never got released, and for some weird reason, not the Monaro, but for some weird reason, those got actually like the final update ever released for the game. Those 2 cars got removed for some reason. Not quite sure why that was, but they were just stealthily taken out of the game, which was very weird. And then finally, the car never actually made it into the game. There's no like, oh fuck's sakes, there was no actual like model that was designed for it that got put into the game, but there was just also supposed to be a Pagani Huayra that was also going to be added into the game. But again, because EA kind of shut them down, that never happened, and it was kind of annoying that they did all that, because the Quicklime wasn't really the best when it came to stuff, and the microtransactions were hell, and the hacking was hell, and all that kind of stuff. But it still was, for what it was still at least decent in many different aspects. Anyways, 50.59, best lap definitely out of any of the Elite cars today. At least every car did under 1 minute. The CCX almost did under 50 seconds. So yeah, we went from the slowest to the fastest, which is a kind of a good way to do it. But hey, them's the ropes. And of course, that means coming over to the leaderboard on the fastest car of the day. In 14th place is the Koenigsegg CCX Elite, having done a 50.59 second lap time, giving it almost 0.1 of a better time over the next car down, the Corvette C5R, just a little bit off of the car from the previous episode, the Skyline GTST R32. A little bit further down into 47th place is the Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR Elite, doing a 55.73, again, about 0.1, this time a bit off on the Cobalt SS, but it managed to beat out the 944 Turbo and VW Golf GTI by that little bit. Further down into 75th place is the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 Elite, doing a 58.80, again, 0.1 over the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and whatnot. And then finally, in 81st place, the slowest of the day, the Mitsubishi Eclipse GST Elite, doing a 59.31, just very barely off the car it replaces. Realistically, they drive about the same, so time-wise, they'll probably be very similar. But it does, of course, beat out the 3-way tie between the Supra TT and Cadillac CTS. Anyway, stay tuned, guys, for the next episode, and thank you for watching. If you want to follow me on Twitter, go ahead, because that's where I'm usually at for update-wise. Donate to my Patreon if you want to support the channel, not actually required, and as always, take care.